As of a couple of days ago, Cyberpunk 2077 now has some gameplay for us all to digest, and my god did they go all out for this one. Not only did they give us a demo, but they gave us over 40 fucking minutes of straight gameplay. It's a pretty hefty demo with a lot going on, so it's not like I'm volunteering to provide an in-depth analysis on that. However, I did think I'd give my thoughts on the gameplay because this is a game I've wanted to see gameplay for since, well, I couldn't fucking tell you. Let's just say that CD Projekt Red has delivered in the past, and as a result I'm interested in what they're currently working on, which is this. So here we go, a brief overview of my thoughts on the fat Cyberpunk 2077 demo. Oh boy. So first I wanted to talk about how smooth everything looks. Like the HUD feels comfortable and uninvasive, despite it being present. By this I mean it feels like it won't get in the way of an immersive experience because the art style and what's going on screen otherwise kind of blend together. On the topic of HUD, it's definitely there, but there isn't stupid amounts going on screen like in some games. Everything seems simple enough to follow, and I kinda like it that way. Don't mind my guy over here, just scrapping a robot. Beyond the HUD, which to me is quite key to getting right for an immersive experience, the game looks bloody gorgeous. Graphically, everything looks how you'd expect a game to look these days. Smooth, dramatic, atmospheric, complete with a fitting and satisfying colour palette. This sort of ties into my previous point about the HUD because that looks nice and fitting as well. Especially how they seem to have fit the HUD into the car and driving. That looks pretty bloody sick, doesn't it? Because it looks like it's there for the character to see just as much as the player. And that's the kind of thing that you can get away with in a game called Cyberpunk and should definitely try to do. So props to CD Projekt Red for that one. Furthermore, this looks like a living, breathing world, and honestly, I really like that. And I have confidence that CD Projekt Red can deliver on this experience because they've done so to the highest quality in the past. Side note, if you haven't played The Witcher 3, play it. That game is the only argument I need for my confidence in CD Projekt Red. So this looks super immersive, and how I see it, the more immersive the world is, the more I feel inclined to explore it. And the more I explore a world, the more hours I'm going to sink into it. And just given how alive the world looks, this looks like the kind of game that I could sink hundreds of hours into. The gameplay itself looks seamless and smooth. This even applies to the shooter aspect. You see, when it comes to first person shooters, I hold the philosophy that if you've played one, you've kind of played them all. Because there are only so many ways that you can do that sort of game while trying to provide a realistic flow. I'm going to attempt to use the word realistic sparingly here, because this game's set in the future where everyone's augmented to shit. In this universe, you could probably have razors come out of your genitals, and it'll be okay because somebody's probably already done it. For all we know, there could be a secret third gender in this game. Megatron's sexy time. You see how realistic can be a hit and miss word here? I digress, I'll give it to them. The gameplay is filled with all the snazzy abilities you'd expect from a game called Cyberpunk, so hopefully that and all the other elements involved will help define this game as much as possible. For example, this deflection system here is fucking sick. I'm going to struggle to express that one without getting excited, because that's something I've never seen in a game before. At least not like that. So I reckon falling into the category of just being another shooter won't be this game's problem, no matter how much shooting is involved. Moving on to how quests, shall we say, in the game sort of play. I really don't like using the word quest in a modern / futuristic game, because when I think of a quest, I think of some guy in armour running off to kill a dragon. What I like is that a lot of quests have different paths to completing them. For example, in certain quests there's non-violent paths, or in others there's guns blazing. Sometimes there's one way or one the other. I can imagine this will have a long run effect as well, which is quite an interesting concept. Customizing a character appears to also be very in-depth, which is never a super must for me, but it is something that is very fun to tweak with at the beginning of the game. You know, make the player character your vessel in which you're going to be travelling this world unique to you. Then there's of course your stats and the fact that classes aren't exactly set, as it'll adapt to you as you play along. Unlike in some games where you're forced to choose a class in the beginning, you conduct your business in the world and you develop your class as you go along, and ultimately you find a class that is tailored to you specifically. It beats choosing a class or creating a custom class at the beginning of the game and wind up having that bottleneck your efficiency in the long run. So as far as that customization riffraff is concerned, I'm quite satisfied. I could go on for a good while talking about this, but this game appears to have CD Projekt Red written all over it. Everything looks cleanly crafted, and the flow of the demo is engaging and fluid, and considering the fucking thing is 48 minutes long in total, it kinda has to be. Which makes this game a good sample for how the rest of the game could be. If this is an accurate sample for how the rest of the game is, then I could find myself losing many hours a day playing this game. Which is kinda what I'd expect from a CD Projekt Red game, considering I managed to sit playing The Witcher 3 for like 12 hours in one sitting. I know some of you out there are like, that's nothing you fucking moron, try playing League of Legends for 36 hours straight only stopping to eat shit, piss and wank. And to that I say, I'm not a hardcore sado. Most great games don't tend to get in the way of me actually having a life, but The Witcher 3 did, and if anybody can do that again, it's CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk 2077. Now there is a lot that I could talk about here. This was one hefty demo. I think you get the point. I'm really pleased with how this game looks, and hopefully when the game comes out, it will reflect what we see here. Of course, some bits, probably a lot of it will change by the time the game comes out, but if it's anything like what this demo shows us, then we're in for one hell of a ride. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, share. Let me know what you think about this beautiful demo down in the comment section. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Why? I want to know. If it gets people discussing things other than Assassin's Creed in my comments section, then I'll be happy. Assassin's Creed's like the Mafia, not being a part of it, being in debt to it. Be sure to go ahead and drop me a follow on Twitter as well, I would really appreciate that. And I'll see you all very soon with another video at some point.